title of our paper was a Micromatic story, and I decided to put that as the title of the presentation. What I thought was pretty cool about our team was that we were kind of more of an underdog type of team, whereas we started, and well, we didn't start, but we went from last place, 14th place, to the first place. And so I think almost, you know, you could think back to a movie or something of that nature. That person was at the bottom and that was able to make it to the top. You know, that defeated person that was able to become victorious. I think that's the person that, you know, people like. You know, so I just thought it was a nice touch.
Is that what they call envy?
And so some of you may not be able to see the chart, but what we did deliberately in the second quarter was make a huge investment, put ourselves in last place. We already kind of expected that. But what happened was the next quarter and the quarters afterwards, we was in first place as far as the quarter, and then we eventually came in first place in the whole game. And so we're going to try to explain to you the strategies that we did and why we did it and things of that nature. And we're also going to try to keep it kind of simple. I think I don't think it's anything. It may be a little something special in what we did, but hopefully it's just something simple and something that maybe some people didn't think about. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to do a little introduction. I represent as the team leader, and a lot of the strategy, a lot of the decisions that were made, especially the risky decisions, like pretty much that we'll talk about later. A lot of the risky decisions that we made was like something that I was pushing for, and whereas, you know, a person like Sandy was like, you know, like, hey man, you know, should we do this? You know, he was kind of like the caution. I was like, hey, let's do it. If it doesn't work, then I don't need to be the team leader anymore. You know, and so, but it worked, and so that was great. Little snappy, nice picture. So, what was really nice was that Kady-Ann, especially around like the third quarter, her excitement for us being first place, the team cheerleader, that was kind of a nickname that I gave her, because if you would see like the text message that she was sending, you know, oh, we're in first place, smiley face, exclamation point, I was like, gosh, you are such a cheerleader. So that was a little nickname I gave her. And she brought communication engine skills to the team. And the team co-leader was Sandeep Chulapuri, right? And he brought project management and analytical skills to the team. He was more of the person that kind of made sure, he kind of helped me stay in check. But he also brought some ideas that helped us get first place. And this is a very nice picture. Like, y'all didn't see this picture? I found this picture on Facebook, and I was just like, oh, I have to do this. Using this pink apron, cooking something.
Okay, so you're going to run out of time.
Going
through this plot.
I got it. All right, so what time do we start? Okay, it's like 6. Okay, it's like 6:52. All right, so our business strategy, it was, I guess in the paper's format, it's either choose low-cost leader versus differentiation. And the great thing about me being a team leader is that I got to influence a lot of decisions. And when I was looking back at the I guess when I was preparing for the presentation, I realized that, you know, the type of person, the way that I think, I'm almost the type of person where if you show me a bottle and say, is this half empty or half full, I'm gonna say it's both. And the reason I think like that, because, you know, to say that it's one is almost to say that it's the other. And it kind of showed in how we did it, versus, you know, if we're going to choose low cost versus differentiation, we just decided to go with both and do a combination strategy. And so the way that this worked in Micromatic was that instead of competing with the low cost leaders and instead of competing with the differentiators, you kind of compete against yourself, especially since there wasn't that many combination of people in the industry. And so that was kind of interesting.
There were some combinations with quality and price. So low-cost leader, differentiation with quality, but I think with features is what made yours unique, right?
Well,
are you going to talk about that?
Yeah, okay. I think we're going to talk about that later, but we were more features. We did quality, we did price, marketing. I think it was a lot. The strategic groups. In the paper, we didn't really do too well on this, so hopefully, some other teams will kind of hit this section a little bit harder. But what I had for the strategic groups was that, there were people, as Bill was stating, with a little bit of quality, a little bit of price. You had people who had either high price, low supply, and high quality, or you had people with low price, high bulk, low quality, things of that nature. And pretty much we just fell into in the middle. And the global strategy that we used was more of a global standardization strategy. But the way that we entered into Region 3 the way that we entered into the global market or whatever was through the first quarter we started out subcontracting, so that was kind of like a strategic alliance or what have you. Somebody supplied it, we'll sell it. And then the second quarter we moved into a wholly owned subsidiary, whereas now we own the plant in that region versus let somebody else produce and things of that nature. Help us lower our costs, kind of reach that economies of scale, and not only help us reach economies of scale, but let's stay with that. And so now we're moving to the marketing section. Kady-Ann will present some of her information on that.
Cheerleader Kate. An overview of the trade publication decisions and also the marketing decisions are very similar. So I will push through.
Oh, no, it's not a clip, it's just a plan.
Oh, no, it's just this one. Okay, so it's not this.
You gonna talk about the trade publications though?
Yes, the trade publications you can see in our graph, early on we took the opportunity along with the other teams to invest in that. But as we move on towards the quarters, we can see that Team 3, we continue to kind of go upward on that, making that additional investment in trade publication. When you looked at trade publication, newspaper ads, and the marketing decision as like a three-pronged approach to make sure that we were investing enough to be able to build those features.
Just a second. When you show those bars, were those the quarters that you got a market research report? Because, okay. I didn't think you didn't do any trade important. Okay.
So this is a quick snapshot of the newspaper ads and the web marketing advertisement. And again, we were able to really hit the ground running by having features developed right away since we invested heavily in features.
Why did you decide so much on web marketing? I mean, that was a big investment. You were up to what, about 60,000, 70,000?
I think our highest amount was 70,000. I think our highest amount was like 70,000. And one of the reasons, playing solo that I found, and it kind of went with our strategy, playing solo version, a lot, I guess my way of thinking, I was like, okay, versus newspapers and trade publications, which you have to invest in each region, that's kind of where the whole strategy of using features and web marketing came into play, because it's like you invest in that and you see the benefit in each region. So it's almost like you're getting, I took it like you were getting more bang for your buck.
Okay.
And so,
Maybe the techies read people who like the features read the web. I don't know.
That's true. That is nice.
I don't think that's in the simulation. But
I did, as far as web marketing, hold on, did you say that? What you said, web marketing features?
Yeah.
The techies, and so, but now that you mentioned that, afterwards, like looking back, I felt like web marketing is very important, since what Micromatic product is, it's almost, I think it's like a computer type of product, and so people would be looking more on the internet versus the newspaper, possibly. So I also saw that was kind of strong.
Moreover, our newspapers and trade publications were mostly like 4 or 5, and we were trying to compensate for that through web marketing too. Like till 6th quarter, we didn't raise our trade publications like.
and then you went to about 8, right? You were up to
even
as
12.
high as 12.
We went to 12.
Okay.
Switch over to our S&A expenses. I tried to just crop this area, but hopefully you all can see